All right, so how did Anomaly get? What was the genesis behind it? How did it get started?
Well, my wife many years ago challenged me to be creative, and so I've always loved the medium. And I started working up a graphic novel of my own. I spent about 6 or 9 months working on a story outline and backstories and stuff like that. And then when I finished that, I realized I actually had to get some artists to execute it. And I didn't know any. So I went online, I looked at hundreds of artists, literally probably over 500, I think, from various sources I got. And my first choice was Brian. And I emailed him and called him, and he called me back a little while later, and he said, "I'm too busy, I can't do this, but I'm coming to Los Angeles in a couple of weeks, and if you can wait, let me take a look at what you're doing, and then I will help you find somebody." I said, "Okay," because I didn't know from nothing. So Brian showed up, I gave him the thing, he read it, and he said, "When I came here, there was zero chance of my doing this." And he told me how busy he was. He says, "But I actually like this." He says, "But I want to take it and think about it and give it to some other people." I guess basically a sanity check to make sure it was the right thing to do. And he called me back a couple weeks later and said, "Okay, I've decided I want to do it." And that's how we started.
Now, Brian, when Skip said, "Hey, I have this this graphic novel, and it's the size of like a phone book. It's the biggest thing ever."
It wasn't. It wasn't at first.
Right.
Originally, it was going to be a 120-page regular, pretty much graphic novel, and then as we got to know each other and like each other, and it was like, let's do something. Let's really do something big with this. Let's not pull any punches. And since it's our company, we could do whatever we want, and then all artists in the comic book industry always secretly want to do a landscape book, and they never get the chance. Frank Miller did a beautiful job with 300, and it was such a clever job too, because it was a regular comic, and then he made it so it would work as a landscape comic. But it was the chance to do that and to really do a lot of stuff. Also, the impetus for me was like, I was, at the time when he first contacted me, I was editor-in-chief for Todd McFarlane Productions. I was penciling and inking Spawn monthly, and I was also helping Robert Kirkman and Todd put together the Haunt property. And every meeting you're in with Todd and Robert, Todd's like, "Yeah, but you don't want to get known for doing Stan and Jack's characters and those things. You want to do your own characters and your own properties and stuff." And Robert, of course, chimes in the exact same thing. And I used to have my own creator-owned line that I did Avalon Studios before, and I kept thinking, I used to do that, and I was planning on going and doing it, and then this kind of all worked out, so this was a great way to get back into creator-owned properties again.
Great. So how long did it take the whole thing, start to finish, from conception to creation? How long did the whole project take?
About 3.5 years, I think.
And how long for just the artwork part of things?
About 3 years.
Because it's massive. I mean, it's beautiful. So now, were you daunted by the fact that here you have the largest graphic novel ever made? You're pitching it to fans. It's got a fairly hefty price tag, and it's not based on an existing property. How do you combat that?
Well, I never thought about it, to tell you the truth. I just want to do something that's cool and fun, and assume if it's cool enough and fun enough, they will come. I know we didn't think about pricing. We didn't think about any of that stuff. It was all about, let's do something unique. Let's use the most up-to-date technology. Kind of let's be fearless and see what happens.
Yeah, and I've found too that the hard part about the book is you can tell people about the book, you can show them a picture of the book, they still don't get what the book is. I've been to enough shows now that when I get it in front of somebody and they get to look through it, they want it. Yeah. And not only do they want it, they go and get other people over and bring them to the booth, telling them that they need to have it too.
Right.
So I think it's going to be one of those things, the more people who get it, it's just going to kind of spread out. But again, on the other end, we don't know, you never know what people are going to like. Our aim in doing this whole thing was to just do something we were proud of at the end of the day, and put our passion, put everything, try as hard as we can, and we'll always be happy with the product no matter what.
Great. So at what point did you decide, hey, let's not just make a graphic novel, let's also incorporate this augmented reality app and make this something that kind of goes above and beyond comic books?
Well, we were always, Brian rendered stuff in 3D, which is one of the attractions to me to Brian, because I love his kind of forward thinking about how to execute. But we were also looking at all the new technologies, because we knew we were going to try to do something interesting with the app. And as soon as we saw augmented reality, initially you had to put barcodes and stuff on the page. It was kind of clunky, and we didn't want to do anything that interfered with the book itself. And then as the technology developed, and you could just do it the way we do it, and I think we've actually helped expand what you could do on it, working with Qualcomm, it became something that seemed very seamless and a lot of fun. And then as we got to know the technology more, we realized that we could upgrade the book, all of the cool things we could do that we're still discovering, by the way. We're still
the real exciting part for me as a creator is we have this book, and the book will come out in November, and you have the app, and then a couple months later you get an update notice on the app, and we add more interactivity to the book. It's the only graphic novel I've ever heard of that comes out and can continue to grow after it's been printed.
Right.
Right.
And then I know you also have a tablet app for the graphic novel, and you recruited a lot of really great science fiction actors to come in and do the voices for that. How did that process come about, and what was the casting like for that?
Well, basically, we got a casting agent that gave us a gazillion voices.
Yeah, it's 16 actors doing 90 speaking parts, okay? And she came to us with 500 actors who have tried out for the roles, not just, oh, here's their sample reels. Here's them doing lines of the characters they want to play. 500 of them. And I asked, wow, could you weed this down anymore? She goes, I did. It was 1,000. So we had 1,000 actors trying out for all these parts. And it took me literally days to go through the 500 to go, okay, that's my A choice, that's my B choice. Wait a second, now that guy's my A choice, that guy's my B choice, and stuff. But we were really lucky. I mean, and too, just the energy of the actors, they were all really excited about the project.
And were you guys involved in the recording at all, or did you leave that to...
No, I directed it.
Oh, there you go. So what's the plan moving forward? This is your first project with this company. I see you have some promotional materials for other stuff. What else is going to be happening with the company?
Well, there's going to be Shifter is the next property, and that's going to be out at Comic-Con in San Diego. And then the next property after that is Between Worlds, which is sort of a young adult fantasy novel illustrated by J. Anacleto.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's another Anomaly that we're already 60 pages into.
Cool.
And there's going to be other kind of new and exciting things along the way. Probably, we're talking about dabbling into some children's books next year, too. And because, I mean, the AR and the interactivity is just magic for those kind of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we now have built a platform that we can do 2 or 3 of these a year.
Right.
And what we want to do is just keep on expanding, as long as we have good ideas. The limitations, having cool, really interesting ideas that we're passionate about, we're not going to do anything. We've had a number of people that have seen Anomaly, and companies that have come to us and said, would you do this for us, or would you do that? We're not interested. We want to do stuff that we think is unique, that has some unique point of view. Like Anomaly, if you read it, it's about stuff. It's about, the disparity of the rich and poor, about not judging people by how they look, about how you can rethink about religion and philosophy. There's a lot of underlying ideas. We don't preach to anybody about them, but we want all the stuff we do to have some educational aspect and actually be about something, not just somebody faster, bigger, stronger because he laid on a piece of uranium or something. We want it to be about something so that it's educational. And we have a lot of science in all of our work. There's a lot of science. We've had a lot of different scientists. For Anomaly, the philosophy which is attached, the philosophy of the one, we call it. We have a debate written between 2 sides by the head of religious life at SC. who happens to be Hindu.
Right.
So we're trying to do stuff that if you want to, if you're interested, you can go much deeper into it.